All right. What's happening, everybody? My name is Pratesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you guys another video. Here today, we're going to be taking a look at a few different articles I've got pulled up for you here. First off, let's take a look. So, Bitcoin going to 100,000 after steady accumulation, according to a cryptocurrency trader. Also found an interesting tweet for you guys, cryptocurrency versus cash. So this is a very interesting little graphic that we've got here, and these are some of the countries that have adopted cryptocurrencies and are actually looking to move towards a digital economy, as well as recent price action in gold and precious metals. Gold is acting as a hedge with current global tensions and turmoil with emerging economies. What is going to be the role of gold in the near future? All right, you guys. So if you all are looking forward to that type of content, be sure to smash that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, if you do find some value from this video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay tuned for future videos. If you hit that notification bell on the side, you can get notified when I post a new video. So to get started, here we're taking a look at CoinMarketCap. So just a brief overview. Bitcoin is tanking a little bit, nothing too drastic. We're just continuing a bit of sideways movement here. We're looking at the overall market, pretty much just sideways action going on across the board. A lot of these projects have been very depressed now for a long time. Bitcoin, of course, just kind of evening out a little bit. We're kind of just under 11,000. So we shall see in the near future if we are going to be continuing this sideways movement or if we're going to be able to break through and continue on to make higher highs. So the first article that I have for you guys here, so Bitcoin going to 100K after steady accumulation. So I'm going to leave a link down to this article in the description below. If you guys are interested in checking it out, be sure to just click on the link. So recently, Goldman Sachs has come out with their analysis of cryptocurrency, telling their, I guess you could say, the people who have subscribed to them from an institutional standpoint. Goldman Sachs is telling these customers that they are bullish on Bitcoin. Now, guys, I tell you what, I've actually had a funny interaction. At my place of work, I got a chance to meet a gentleman, and for the sake of his privacy, I will not disclose his name. But this gentleman is actually a radio host for Bulls and Bears. And Bulls and Bears is a trading academy. They're focused on technical analysis and teaching students about the stock market and trading and being profitable. And it was a very interesting conversation because, guys, this was a firsthand experience. For me personally, one thing about my place of work is that I'm able to interact and meet a whole bunch of different people. Now, of course, this person wasn't from Goldman Sachs, but just to think that this person was involved with finance and the stock market and investing, I actually got the opportunity to ask him his personal opinion on cryptocurrencies and whether or not he was looking at that as a part of his business. And, the answer that he gave me was pretty interesting. He let me know that as of right now, he's not necessarily teaching that to his students because of the nascent market. The price is still at a very volatile state. So I found it very interesting that he had mentioned it like that, because now we can see Goldman Sachs coming out and saying that they are bullish on Bitcoin. And of course, they're not telling their everyday Joe who's investing in the stock market. Goldman Sachs is going to be partnered with some of the biggest institutions in terms of finance and money. So it's very interesting to see the viewpoints of the different types of people in finance. Now, one thing I will keep in mind, though, this gentleman was probably old enough to be my dad. So, in all fairness, I think that his perspective on Bitcoin is a lot to do with his ability to operate technology and understand technology. So I think that this revolution is going to be for the early adopters. It is going to be for the younger generation who is tech savvy. With all these institutions building these on-ramps for Bitcoin, that is geared towards people who just want to simply click a button, who don't want to have to necessarily keep track of their private keys, or who don't simply have time for it, right? It's just hypothetically. So it's interesting to see that the younger generation, people my age, are taking upon themselves to learn about cryptocurrencies, because this is a revolution for millennials, right? I mean, plain and simple, this is going to be for the tech savvy. For those people who have money who are not nearly as tech savvy, they're going to be buying Bitcoin at a much higher price, just to put it plain and simple. So to get into the article here, one of the main points is zoom out and think big. So the recent price action that we've seen, about a month ago, Bitcoin actually topped out around about 14,000, and we've been continuing this consolidation sideways movement. This is a little chart pattern that they've got here in the article, just kind of describing what we've been seeing. And it illustrates very, very clearly what levels that we're looking at as far as support, and what levels we have yet to break as far as resistance. And it's interesting because if you do zoom out and look at the bigger picture, this is just noise, right? If you're a day trader, you're concerned about this. You're worried every day about what the price of Bitcoin is. However, if you're an investor, if you're somebody like myself who is in their 20s or even 30s, maybe you're in your 40s, who knows? If you have more than 10 years worth of investing time frame available to you, I think that focusing on the daily price movement of Bitcoin right now is just going to bring you added stress and anxiety. Not financial advice, but from my perspective, I think that it is more beneficial for your mental health, for your emotional health, for you to develop a strategy for yourself, such as dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is a great way to not be concerned about the price point and still be able to allocate an investment on a non-emotional basis. And I think that's what it's all about. Guys, cryptocurrency is super volatile. I'll give you that. But I think that by developing a strategy, you're going to be able to come out on top. Right now, we're playing the long game. If you are a day trader, there are a lot of cryptocurrency channels that focus on technical analysis and the different types of chart patterns. Granted, we do take a look at that here as well. And I think it's very important to understand it. But in the grand scheme of things, acquiring Bitcoin today is, it's like being in Amazon back in the year 2000, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's really, really a revolution. So a lot of these people from these big institutions, they're calling for like 6-figure Bitcoin, $100,000 Bitcoin, $1 million Bitcoin. Will this actually happen? I think it's going to take time. With the reward halving coming up in May 2020, that's only going to drive the scarcity factor of Bitcoin, which is already a severely scarce asset. And with the on-ramps that are being developed by these institutions, there's going to be a flood of capital coming into the market. So time will tell, but right now I think it's a matter of playing the long game. So that's what I have for this article. Just to summarize it, they were talking about the price points and where we can look to see in the future what Bitcoin might reach. Also, touching on that, we've got this right here. This is a graphic that I found on Twitter. I thought this was interesting. Just want to share with you guys. So one thing that we've noticed with the digitalization of technology is that many of these countries are moving towards cashless societies. Now, whether that's good or bad is probably a topic for another video, but I just wanted to show you this because it kind of encompasses what we're looking at here with cryptocurrency. So we can see that some of the countries here are Canada, you got Germany, Sweden, Australia. So it's interesting to see that these countries are most likely going to be the ones to adopt cryptocurrency at an early point in time. I think Canada is probably the most interesting to me, in my opinion. Canada is doing some amazing things with cryptocurrency, as well as Switzerland, Sweden, Germany. Australia, to be fair, I haven't really seen a whole lot of news coming from Australia, but for you Aussies out there that are watching, shout out to you guys. I'm sure there's some amazing developments happening over there. So it's really cool to see. We can see that a cashless society is almost inevitable at this point. So, these guys apparently are going to be the front runners, the ones to adopt that earliest. Now, I guess the last little bit that I have for you here in this video, don't want to keep you guys too long, but gold is actually breaking above 1500. So what does this mean exactly? Well, a lot of you guys know who are involved with finance and cryptocurrency know that this is essentially a revolution from the fiat banking paradigm. Now, I think that this has a lot to do with what we're seeing with gold right now, because a lot of these economies, especially emerging economies, such as what we saw with Argentina. Data Dash did a great video on Argentina. I would definitely recommend you guys check out Data Dash. His macroeconomic stance on Argentina and Venezuela is top notch. I would recommend him 100%. But that has a lot to do with what we're seeing with the price of gold as well as silver. And this is something that's very historically significant, because as we can see, the economies of these emerging economies getting weaker and weaker and the currencies being devalued, gold is being viewed as a store of value and a hedge. So the price is continuing its upwards momentum, and 1500, it's almost a big even level. And back in 2011, gold's all-time high, almost 1800, we're not very far away from that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the price of gold does here within the next few months to a year. And I think it's going to be good for those who are holding gold, as well as silver. One thing I would like to point out here is the gold to silver ratio. So what this means is that for every 1 ounce of gold, you're able to purchase X amount of ounces of silver. In this case, 1 ounce of gold purchases roughly 89 ounces of silver. So historically, and at the rate that gold and silver are mined, for every 1 ounce of gold that comes out of the earth, there are around about 9 to 10 ounces of silver. So to put that into perspective, if you have 1 ounce of gold and 9 ounces of silver that come out of the ground respectively, that means that silver is roughly 10 times, almost 10 times undervalued compared to gold. So silver right now has definitely got my attention. And, this is just something that's going to be interesting to see as we progress through this cycle. I think we are definitely in a trending market at this point in time. So it's going to be fascinating to find out what happens to these assets. And you know what, guys? I think that is pretty much what I have for you here. Just an interesting look at the prices of some of these commodities with cryptocurrencies and what we're seeing with the global macro scenario with a lot of these economies. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And that is a wrap for this video, guys. If you do have comments, suggestions, any type of feedback on this video and past videos, let me know. Let me know if you have any thoughts for future videos. I definitely do care about your thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So just let me know down in the comments section below. And again, if you did find value, be sure to smash that like button. All right, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned. Till next time. Take care.